walk me home my Friday night. So it was not an easy day today. I still got the cold, but the honeysuckle tea is helping a lot. I have instant talk. I hear noises up ahead. I need to see what's going on. And that helps a lot. If I'm getting like congested again, I drink some 3 times a day for that. It's helping, so that's good. And so I got up, I took that, I was happy with the hair, I rinsed it out. I basically stand under the shower for like 10 minutes, and then I conditioned it, I put it up, and I finished my shower, and then I rinsed it out, and it's okay. It's gonna be a little rough on Tuesday because I can't wash it for 2 days, but I'll be home probably barbecuing. So anyways, I went to Jovi's. I was hoping to get at least the pinata mix or the caramels, and they had neither. I also needed the bars, but they did have those, so I got 2 boxes. That'll definitely hold me till next week. And there was a homeless guy on the bus, and he wouldn't ask, but I could tell he needed one, so I gave him one. He took it. I don't hate, that's not what God wants me to do. And he doesn't want me to lie. He doesn't want me to whine. He doesn't want me to gossip. So I'm going to stay in those lines tonight. So I got to work, and my boss had been gone for a little while, and I walked up and I said hello, and she was pretty abrupt, but she can be, so I just figured whatever. I went to work, and she asked me to do things that weren't in my job description, but I have a policy. I'll do it if it needs doing, so I did it. And right before she left, an hour later, she came over to me, and she was disrespectful. That's really the only word for it. And I don't even need to repeat what happened. But the gist of it is she was threatening my job, and lying and stabbing me in the back and throwing me under the bus. And I was just in shock. And that's kind of how my brain operates. I don't know if this is a fetal alcohol thing or what, but when something awful, dead animal, something awful happens like that, it takes a while for it to really sink in. And it was really only on the way home that it hit. But anyways, and then she stormed off. And there were witnesses to this, and my one witness was pretty upset, and I was pretty upset. She asked me, "Are you okay?" And I said, "Right now I'm very angry, and I don't want to talk." Basically because I don't want to ruin my witness and say something that's going to, ruin well, I didn't say this. I don't want to ruin my witness, but I gave her the gist of it. So there's a lot of slang, I think, in Christians that people who aren't Christians don't get, and I think it can be elitist. So I'm trying not to do that. And I need to move this bag because this bag is way too heavy, and I'm gonna end up very sore if I try to carry this home. My ITB is gonna act up again, so I need to figure this out. Yeah, that's okay. So I gave it a good night's work, and there's things I do that other people don't like to do, so I did that, and I got it all done and went home, and I had the very friendly. I don't have a good radar on flirting. I think maybe it's a long, hard day. You just wanted somebody to talk to. I don't know, but he was nice. I like talking to him. So, And I'm going home now, and I have 2 days off. And some of the plans, this isn't necessarily in order, I already did my hair, which is good, is making meatloaf or lentils. And to that end, I bought some bacon because it was really good with the bacon. I have the other meats at home already. And I want to do a barbecue. Now, growing up, my dad's version of a barbecue was throwing some hot dogs on the grill with a charcoal grill. No wood smoke at all. And maybe hamburgers sometimes. And the hamburger was not seasoned. It was just thrown on the grill and cooked and taken off over the charcoal. So, that's what I grew up eating. Ron, of course, came from a completely different place where his dad was such a good cook. The church they attended would recruit him for their fundraisers, and they would say, Mr. Butte is doing the cooking. Oh, okay, and they would be lined up for a block. You know, that's how good he was. I never actually tasted my father-in-law's barbecue because he was pretty broken down by the time I met him. But you know, that's where Ron came from. So he said, you know, you need to season the meat before you put it on, and wood smoke is good, and you know, a few tips on like get the meat, the smoke into the meat, then put the sauce, and then cook the sauce into the meat a little more. And that's all good advice. So I try to do that, and I did not get a brush, so I need to figure that out this week, the next couple days too. So I want to do that. I got some 50-cent hot dogs, chicken hot dogs. They're not wonderful, but they're not bad either. But it might be a good lunch sometime. So, you know, the hot dogs and maybe some pork chops, or at the very least, some of the sausage I have in the fridge. I'll figure that out. That I would like to do that probably Tuesday because the smoke gets in my hair when I barbecue, and I want to be able to really wash it well after I'm done, because I don't like going to bed with hair that smells like barbecue smoke. So, you know, and I'm just going to leave everything, put it aside, because people don't think about this, and you really, really need to consider these things, that all of our actions are going to be recorded, and that we are going to be held to account for our actions, saved or unsaved, one day at the great white throne judgment. And that's why I wear my safety vest, and all of it. And I have some terrible things in there. But, you know, one of the things that haunts me to the day is that I paid for a cat to have an abortion, and I feel really terrible about that. And if I had known what I know now, I realize I would have gotten the kittens homes, especially since I was online. I had a camera, you know. I could have got some cute videos and picture, and you know. But I wasn't thinking about that. I was just thinking I can't have 12 cats. So I paid for the operation, and the vet did it. So, but I feel really bad about that, and I have repented, and you know, take it to God. So, but it all is coming to account. And one thing that God put in me, as I really, the last year or two, I've really been working on getting closer to Him, is that I don't need to lie ever. And I don't lie. And my boss knows that. Yet tonight, she was standing there pointing a finger at me, accusing me of lying, when she's the one lying. So, God's going to show that one day. If nothing else, at the great white throne judgment, the truth is going to come out in front of all of creation. That's not going to be very embarrassing. So, you know, you really don't want to put yourself in that kind of position. And that's why I'm not really even mad at her. I'm more like, the system is just so completely broken on this planet, that the corporations have to use fear and threats and intimidation on their employees, that it's not about building a team and getting things done. It's just about saving your job, and that, if all else fails, threaten their job. Well, one thing I learned in 21 is that God can give me a job if I surrender to him and go where he sends me. But this is not an easy job. Emotionally, it's very hard because the customers are very abusive. The management is abusive. I am subjected to bad actors in my commute. I don't make a lot of money compared to other jobs, but this is where it wants me, and I'm happy to do that. And for me, it's about doing God's will. And if God wants me here, I will do it. I will crawl to work if I have to. But, you don't have to scream at me. And that's just sad and wrong. And 2 times in my tenure here, other employees have quit suddenly. And they contacted me, or they came into the store personally, and they said she was just going off on me and I couldn't take it anymore. And I realized I either had to walk out or I was going to hit her. I'm not that kind of person. I'm not going to hit you, but, And I was thinking after this, because there were a couple of players in this thing that happened today, that, the Bible is very clear. I have to love my enemies and try to bless them. And how do I do that? And I was thinking about it. The best thing I could do tonight, at least, was just to do a good job. So I did that, and I'm proud of the work I did. And it's funny because I do this thing that nobody else likes, and so I did everything there was to do with it on that. So, but that's not easy, and it makes me wonder though, because there have been so many attacks, big and small, lately on me, that it makes me wonder. One, am I being particularly effective in ministry here, and the devil is feeling threatened, or is this just because I'm a child of God in general? I don't know. It doesn't really matter even, but my job is to guard my witness and to act like a daughter of the King and not a daughter of Satan. And one thing I did find useful on my way home, I thought, I need to hear "Scream" by Michael Jackson. Stop pushing at me. And I am, hello. Hi, you're on camera. Alrighty. That's a homeless man. And he's running now. So, I'm gonna turn and watch him walk away. I think 2 or 3 blocks. So I can talk a little more. And, God's got this. God's gonna handle it. I just need to keep my eyes on the prize and to act like a Christian, basically, and to not gossip, not be hateful, not repay evil for evil, to bless people who are personally, and to try to figure out how to do that. And yeah, he picked right up when I said I had him on camera. And yeah, I'm gonna let him go. It's 14:40 right now. I think I'm gonna let him go to at least 16 before I turn around again. So, that's what I aim to do. And I am done going my way, to quote Frank Sinatra, because I think I told a friend this tonight, I don't remember, but, the times I told God, oh, bug off, I'm going to do it my way, I don't like your plan for my life, I've got my own plan for my life. It was bad. It was very, very bad for 29 years. And only His grace got me through. And he's moving around in somebody's yard, but he's not going away. He's coming back, I think. It's hard to tell. He's about a block away and it's dark, but he wasn't wearing anything light, but I'm not turning around. Yeah, he's standing in somebody's yard right now, watching me. I'm watching him. I'm gonna see what he's doing. He's moving. I can't tell what he's doing though. But he doesn't live at that house because it's a white homeless guy with a big heavy backpack. And there are very few white people in this neighborhood. I have blacks, I have Latinos, I have a smattering of Asians, and there's like 2 other white people in a neighborhood of over 300 houses. So I think he's like a block away and he's waiting. I'm gonna see if I can zoom on him. Okay. No, it's not letting me zoom. But he was not leaving. He went off about a block and he stopped and he was in the yard. He's moving away now. He sees I'm watching him. Yep. It's 17:40, so we're gonna wait until 20 before I turn around. I should be looking behind me too. Behind me's okay. But yeah. That was very interesting. And I was just telling the bus driver that I got off. He's like, well, at least you have a little lighting now. And I said, yeah, it's better. I said, but the real thing that gets them going is when I start recording them, they take off pretty quick. And he laughed because, nobody wants to be recorded. As far as I can tell, he's gone. But there's someone in the yard, but there's more lights in the yard. So I'm thinking that's a homeowner there in the yard. There's 2 people talking. I think the homeowner's talking to the homeless guy, but I know that guy and he's not a nice guy. And it is disturbing that he's in my neighborhood. And I certainly don't want him knowing where I live. I don't even want to check my mail, and the mailbox is right behind me, so I don't want him to know that I live around here. And the sad thing is I have a little care package in my bag here for, if I meet a homeless person who's having a little difficulty. It's got some food and some other things, but, I'm not. It's like he's standing and talking to the guy and trying to bullshit him into giving him something. But, some random dude walks up to me in the middle of the night, we're going to have a problem. Now, I did have that guy, 2 guys that came up and they wanted to give me a ride, and I gave them a Bible instead, and they were happy to get it. But that one time, I did not. God told me don't get anywhere near that car, and I didn't. So I will use up the whole memory on my phone if I have to. Okay, I'm going to try to move a little bit. Okay. Let's see if he starts coming back. Worst case, I'll just call the police. Let's say I'm a widow at home, trying to get home after a long day at work, and there's a man harassing me. I think they've come pretty quick, but you never know, because when I was mugged, they were pretty slow coming out, but that was like 20 years ago. All right. Yeah, we're okay. But yeah, I have to be vigilant on coming home at night. But but more things like that have been happening lately. So I feel like things are accelerating. I have been a rapture adherent for a very long time. I believe the rapture is coming, and one day I'm going to go poof by the grace of God, not by anything I did. And that's one reason I hand out the Bibles, because if you have a printed Bible in your hands, nobody can change what is in that Bible. If you have a digital Bible, people can change it. Now, having said that, what is my primary Bible? A digital Bible. So, that may be funny, and it can be a little glitchy sometimes, but it works. So, I have a couple of, I got some mail. Let's see what I got. A cashback bonus offer. Something from Metro? Oh, I think I know what this is. And something addressed to Ron. Okay. And something else. So, getting my house key. I have a special color on it. So, I also have two dog tags on my key ring. They're both red for some reason. One of them, it was Ron's. It says "Do not resuscitate," and the other one is a keychain I had made up 2002, I think. And it has Psalm 71:1 on it. In thee do I put my trust. Let me never be put to confusion. And they capitalized never for me. So it is one of my favorite verses. But, and God reminded me of some verses tonight. The one about the great white throne judgment in Revelation chapter 20. That is Revelation chapter 20, 11, and 12. Basically, the books are going to be open and all the actions come out. Everything you did, public and private. And the one from Exodus, I don't know the exact chapter and verse, but basically stand still and see salvation. And also the one from Isaiah, touch not my prophets and do my, it's from Psalms, I think. Touch not my prophets and do my anointed ones no harm. It doesn't go well if you come up against someone who's doing the will of God. Alrighty, I'm having a problem with the bite. I put the wrong strap on, basically, so. Alrighty. Now, it's funny. I probably worry more about people walking around than I do people in a car. But that guy is not coming after me. Well, I only have to get about 200 feet here, so I'm not going to worry too much about the buggy. But, yeah, you don't want to come against someone who's doing God's work. Am I saying that God's going to, get her for me? Is God my pit bull? No, absolutely not. But God loves me, and He doesn't like to see people harass me. It's holding the mail, I think, that's messing up the buggy. So, okay, okay. There's a lot of logistical stuff I have trouble with, like this. And it's just part and parcel of the brain damage. I've got my ponytail trapped under the straps of this bag. which is unpleasant, but I'll be home pretty quick. Alright, no one's following me. And, I have a couple of things en route, I've been told. Some policeman Bibles, and a little bit of clothes I got. I don't really see anything now. Anyway, so, oops, I'm home. That's good. I'm gonna enjoy my days off. Focus on doing God's will, not mine. And, oh, there's something on the porch. It is my policeman Bible. I can tell by the box. So, I will show these to you. And I had one of these shipped to my dad because Dad was telling me about somebody he knew who was a retired policeman. And the Holy Spirit just spoke to me and said, this guy needs one of those policeman Bibles. So, I very carefully asked Dad, Dad, are you okay with giving this guy a Bible if I send it? And surprisingly, he said yes. So, I mailed it, and the bag is down. And you'll get a kick out of this. I'm going to prop this up for a second because I think it's funny. All the junk I had on tonight. So, I had the safety vest, which probably kept me from getting run over that one time. And the Walmart vest. Now, my friend who witnessed the problem today, when she saw me wearing my vest when I walked out, she's like, what are you doing? And I said, well, I gotta wash it. Hi! I miss you, sweet kitty. And this is so funny because Biscuit used to do it too. I'm home and he wants to go out. And he has a cat door, but he wants to go out the front door. So come on. Be careful. Don't let that guy get you. So, I need to get a buggy in before that guy comes back. So, alrighty, I have Bibles. I'll move these in. I have a old dumbbell I use as a doorstop, which is very effective. 5 pounds seems to be the magic number. And this is, the buggy. I need to remember I have hot dogs and bacon in my stuff, and they need to go in the fridge. So, and just, loving on people and, love God, love one another. Those are the 2 big commandments. So, I'm going to work on that even when people are late, but it's just a lot sometimes. And I don't wish anything on this lady, but, she's got to stop. God does not like that kind of behavior. You don't go after people. So, here we go. Oops, that's the Spanish version. Okay. Oops. 427 and 429. They're going to be working on the water. They moved it up. Okay. So I had better take my shower tonight. Anyway, Spotty's out. I'm going to leave the light on for him. He likes to just hang out in the front yard. There are some tree roots that are kind of like a little bit above the ground. And he loves to just scratch on them and stretch out and just have a good time. So, I am going to do an unboxing here. And see what we got. And I like these. I got a few in a big Bible. And this is what was so sad to me today, is that this was the candy. It was awful. But they were happy with just the bar, at least going home. I had a few packets going in, but I didn't have anything coming home. But people were happy with the bar. So here is my box cutter. And I'm going to open it. For God so loved the world. And the mail from Metro, I believe, is recipient related, so I'm not going to pass that on. If I'm correct, I'll read it, but not out loud. And I'll just tell you if it was recipient related. Because I did some distribution up there last week, so. Alright, so It is my Bibles. Okay. So these are the policeman Bibles. And they have like full color stuff in them. Here, hang on, how am I going to do this? Yeah. There we go. You have some full color stuff here. And here, you know, they're nice. So I'm very, very happy I got those. I feel like I have been in some situations the last 6 months or so where something bad had just happened, and it's my experience that when something bad happens, everybody around that incident starts thinking about eternity. Where am I going to end up? How can I get to heaven? What am I doing with my life? That kind of stuff. And that's a really good opportunity, if I can, to share the gospel. So, and it's very morbid to say that. I'm totally... I did not have my pepper spray around my neck. But it's not really, it's probably very, inappropriate to say that, but I'm going to say it. So anyway, let's see what I got. Oh, and here is my wonderful stuff. This stuff is so good. Oh, here it is. Get the kind that's just the honeysuckle, because the one with the chrysanthemum is vile. I couldn't do it, but this I can drink. So anyways, let's look at my mail. So I got an auto body thing, the thing from Metro, something for Ron, something from Bank of America. Bank of America thinks I'm coming back to them after the way they treated me after Ron died. I had to take them to court. They were awful. So let me see what this thing wrong. Insurance thing. I'm not gonna get insurance from a company I've never heard of. And the way I see it, insurance is kind of like dating. I should go to you. You shouldn't be going to me. If you're a good company, I'm gonna hear about you and I'm gonna want to sign up. When we had the pipe break in the attic, the water elimination people came out, and they were very concerned what insurance I had. And I told them the name of the company, and they're like, "Oh, we haven't heard of them." And they said, "But it's not Geico, it's not Allstate." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Good, because they don't pay ever." I'm like, wow. So what I think I'll do, because these peacemakers, they're not damaged, but they got a little shook up. And that's the problem when you don't order a whole case of Bibles. They're loose in the box, and the shipping process is fairly abusive to the Bibles. So this is my envelope, and there's something in it too. Okay. It is what I think it is. Okay. It is a recipient. Oh, this is fun. This is really, really sweet. The recipient was very happy with the Bible and the note I left. So awesome. Okay. Because everything we do is a witness. And I interacted with this person after my accident. And God would remind me every time I would open an email or whatever, or the phone calls and stuff, that this is the witness. How I'm acting is going to be the witness, and I need to be careful, because I was upset when I got hurt. When someone hurts me, I get mad, I get upset, and I'm not sorry I put Scream and the lyrics to Scream on my Facebook. You look up those lyrics for Scream. That is exactly what happened tonight. Anyway, thank you very much. I love you. I am praying for you daily. Be safe.